Dr. Trish Leigh, she's one of the most well-known and influential educators on porn addiction, particularly on how porn affects the brain. And she actually lives about 20 minutes from me right here in North Carolina, which is pretty cool. And Dr. Leigh's primary focus is on the brain and how porn affects the brain and how to actually train your brain to beat porn and to beat addiction at the neurochemical level. It's really exciting stuff. It's very different from what I do in my line of work, which is primarily sexual addiction consulting and how to help men address the behavior of porn, why they address porn, and how to deal with it in a practical and a tactical way. So let's recap what she talks about. The first thing being dopamine hits. This is basically the reason why pornography is so addictive. The dopamine hits are tricking your brain into thinking that you watching porn is somehow essential to your survival and that it will eventually leading you to procreation, having sex, having a real sexual relationship, which is actually not the case because pornography is very much further from what actual genuine sexual connectivity is. So the core of what Dr. Leigh teaches is how to replace the dopamine and get rid of that at the core so that you aren't led down the rabbit hole of seeking more intense, more pleasurable, more frequent porn sessions. So when you do experience those dopamine hits from watching porn, your brain produces a protein called delta phosphate. This is something also that I learned that's really cool. Delta phosphate, its job is to help you and get you addicted to whatever that first thing is. It's to help get you back to the first thing that produced those dopamine hits in the first place, and that's its primary job. The cool thing for you guys to know in your process of porn recovery is that this protein kind of weakens after about a week. It kind of, after you go cold turkey, you quit porn, you decide to do this NoFap thing, for about a week, your urges, your sexual drive will kind of remain the same, and it'll become really difficult for about 7 days, as studies have found 7 days, and then it'll level off for about 3 weeks. And then after 3 weeks of leveling off, then it'll start to die off. This is why doing a reboot is so important. This is why doing that brain rewire is so critical, especially for that first 4 weeks of deciding to quit. Because if you can't pass the first 4 weeks, you're never actually going to experience that decline in this protein that is getting you back to those dopamine hits. And that's why I've created a reboot program, which you can check out if you want at benuyama.com. So the coolest thing that I think Dr. Leigh does is actually teach you the tricks to retrain your brain. And she doesn't just talk about brain facts. She's a neuroscientist, right? So she talks about retraining the brain and replacing that dopamine hit. She specifically asks people to stand up, walk away when you're feeling knee deep in a porn session. You feel it coming, or you feel the urge coming. You stand up, you walk away, and you do something else, some other activity that is healthy for you, and that ultimately leads you down this path of producing dopamine and doing something else that is actually essential to your survival, such as something related to health. Many people like going running. Many people like doing push-ups, working out, working on a project, things like that. So my whole process of helping you guys quit porn is getting you to the place where you're so intensely focused, excited, and serious about quitting porn that you replace the artificial dopamine hits with genuine hits of dopamine that replace the need for porn in your life, such as working on a project, working on yourself, investing in something that's really important and exciting to you. So after I heard a lot of Dr. Leigh's content about how to hack your brain and make it so that porn isn't a struggle for you anymore, it really got me interested in how applying this in my own process. And if you want to see how I've implemented a train the brain process in my 7-stage process, I'm going to put that video right here. And it actually goes more into the psychology of why you use porn, how to get serious about it, and how to actually train your brain against it. Dr. Trish Leigh has a lot of good content. If you check out her channel, I think you'll find it really helpful, especially if you're interested in the brain and how your porn works in that association.